evening, our dear students, boys and girls of prep 1. How are you today? In lesson 1, we talked about the matter and its characteristics, and we know that some of characteristics, physical characteristics and chemical characteristics. We talked about that chemical characteristics depend on the activity of the metals. Some of it very active, like potassium and sodium, and other less active, and other materials not active, like gold, platinum, and so on. Today, we will talk about lesson 2 in unit 1, the talking matter construction. What meant by matter construction? We know from the previous lessons that building unit of living organisms is cell. Building unit of living organisms is cell, like this in matter. Building unit of the matter is molecule. Building unit of the matter is molecule. We have studied that cell is the smallest part in the living organism's body. Like this molecule, the smallest part in the matter. Okay. To show the matter is consists of molecules which have properties of matter, we know that cell is the smallest part in the living organism's body and have all properties of the body. We studied it in grade 4. Like this molecule, smallest part in the matter and have the properties of matter. Okay, let's start with a step. Determine the mass of a glass bottle of perfume by using a sensitive balance, mass of it. Number 2, open the bottle in one side of the room for a period of time. Then move to other side of the room. Close the bottle of perfume, then measure its mass again. The odor, what will observe? I'll observe that the odor of perfume spreads all over the room. What is your evidence? I smell this perfume. So that means the odor of perfume spreads all over the room. So the mass of bottle will decrease. What will observation from this activity? Number 1, I can smell the odor of the perfume. That means it spreads all over the room. Number 2, the mass of, when I measure the mass of the bottle after close it, I'll observe that it became decreased. What's your explanation, miss? My explanation that talking about perfume divided into small particles which can be seen by naked eye. So these particles of the perfume are molecules, spreads all over the room, and I can smell it. The perfume keeps its properties. What meant by keeps its properties? That means I smell the same odor that found inside the perfume, don't change of it. So these particles that spreads at the room temperature, at the room, all over the room, these particles, the same particles that get out from the bottle, so kept its properties, kept the perfume properties. What will conclusion? I'll conclude that matter is In any state, solid liquid gas is composed of small building units called molecules. These molecules, these particles, these small particles will spread in the perfume, and all matter consists of the molecules. Okay, so let's start with molecules and their properties. Miss, I know that any matter have the smallest part, like my body have cell, the matter have molecules. What are these molecules and what their properties? Number one, molecules of matter are in a continuous motion. Number two, there are intermolecular spaces among the molecules of matter. Number three, there are attraction forces among the molecules of matter. Let's study every point only. Number one, to prove that molecules of matter are in a state continuous motion. Put a small quantity of potassium permanganate in a glass beaker containing water. Then leave it for a while, for a moment. What will you observe? I'll observe that the violet color of permanganate spreads or diffusion all over the water. What happened? Permanganate molecules or particles of permanganate are dissociated into particles of the water and spreads in water gradually in all directions until the color of water changes into violet. Yes, spreads, still spreads. It stopped? No. What's the conclusion? The molecules of matter are in a state of continuous motion, don't stop, still spreading inside the water molecule. The molecules of solid matter have oscillatory motion, while the motion of liquid is limited, and the motion of gaseous matter is unlimited. Like what? For example, disk. Disk consists of molecules what? There is a distance the motion of what? The molecules of what in the disk or in the chair, in the board? Move? No, oscillatory motion. But in the liquid, limited. Small of motion. But in the gaseous, I can't stop that. I can't. Unlimited, unlimited. So I want to ask you, a drop of ink spreads through water. Why? Because the molecule of ink are in a continuous motion, don't stop, in all directions among water molecule. This molecule joined inside the molecule of water, so can spread in a state of continuous motion, don't stop. When you leave the perfume bottle open, you smell all over the particles, because the particles of the perfume will spread over the room. Okay, the number one of properties of molecules that have a continuous motion. Number two, to prove the presence of intermolecular spaces among the molecules of the matter, put 300 cubic centimeter of water in a graduate cylinder. Add 200 cubic centimeter of alcohol to the water. What will you observe? You will observe that the volume of the mixture will be less than 500 cubic centimeter. You can measure with me. When I put 300 cubic centimeter of water in a graduate cylinder and put 200 cubic centimeter of alcohol, logically, the sum of it equal 500 cubic centimeter. but the observation that the volume will be less than 500 cubic centimeter. What your explanation? What is your understand? I'll understand, Miss, that some of alcohol molecule distributes in what? In the intermolecular spaces that are found among water molecule. You can do it practical in your home. Conclusion that there are intermolecular spaces, the molecules of matter. Intermolecular spaces, they are the spaces that are found among molecules of matter. The volume of a mixture of water and alcohol is less than the sum of their volumes before mixing. Why? Because some of molecules of alcohol occupy the intermolecular spaces among water molecules. It's easy to understand. You can do it practical. Number 3 of properties that presence of intermolecular phases attraction forces among the molecules of matter. How can evidence, Miss? Yes, I'll do. Try to break iron piece